Morning team, how are we all doing today? I hope this finds you well, and I hope you can hear me all right. So I'm Chris Thrall, I'm a former Royal Marines Commando, and this month I will run 200 miles non-stop around my local running track, giving up my Christmas holiday to do so. Why am I doing it? Well, I'll be running to highlight the issue of veterans' mental health, and in particular, in this case, veterans' homelessness. And I'll be raising vital funds for a charity called The Baton, which you can look up. The Baton support vulnerable veterans, the veterans that were happy to send off to war, and then are equally as happy to see dying on the side of a British street, right? So I'm doing this challenge. Thank you, mate. Sorry, just trying to read with my bad eyesight. So I'm doing this challenge for several reasons. One, as you know, I'm always saying you get one life, you gotta smash it, folks. You know, you're not gonna get a second go at it. So when I'm on my deathbed, I can look back and just feel happy that I was never afraid to just get out there and do what I wanted to do and push myself a bit, right? Getting out the comfort zone. So that's one reason. Second reason is to raise these funds. Third reason is to raise awareness, not just of veterans' mental health and challenges, but of all of ours. And the fourth reason is, as some of you will know, I ended up, after leaving the forces, chronically addicted to crystal methamphetamine, phasing in and out of what's known as clinical psychosis. So I'd basically gone mad, you could say. I was sticking needles in my arm up to 12 times a day just to try and beat the depression. And back then no one really knew what depression was, so I didn't know what had happened to me. All I knew is that my future was dark. I couldn't see any reason to live, really. I mean, it can be a challenging time resettling from the forces, and I've covered this in my videos, haven't I? So what am I saying here? Yeah. And then one day, in that darkness, in that chronic depression, in that phase where I wouldn't sleep for anything up to 9 days on end, and ended up working, as you'll know if you've read my memoir, Eating Smoke, working as a nightclub doorman for the 14K, who are Hong Kong's most vicious triad family, right? So no, I was a morning bus. Sorry, I'm puffing because we're running up one of my city's steepest hills. But yeah, I was never a triad, but I certainly worked in a nightclub that was run by these head cases, you know. Things got pretty hairy, should we just say that? And I'd end up with these long bouts of not sleeping for days on end, out partying just to try and stay happy, and then I'd starve, literally. I wouldn't have eaten for 5 days. Was not unusual to not eat. You wake up after 5 days of not eating and not sleeping. It's not a pretty place to be, friends. Do you know what I'm saying? And with that, back in the UK, I'd have to go and do my fortnightly shop in what were the beginnings of supermarkets back then. So I remember one time I had £1.87 £1.87 to feed myself for 2 weeks, because all the money went on you know what. And yeah, I'd buy the bulk packets of pasta and porridge that were on no frills special offer, right? 27p margarine and a bag of sugar, and that's all I ate pretty much for 18 months was pasta mixed with porridge, cheap margarine and sugar, just to stay alive. That and bovril on toast. The bread was something like 6p a loaf, and I'd have to slip the bovril in my pocket because there's no way I could afford that price, right? Anyway, I had my epiphany, you can say, my moment of enlightenment, and I've never looked back. I have absolutely no regrets about my past. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's, to use a bit of a corny cliche, it's made me the man I am today, and that's a very, very well balanced, happy man, one who's seen, I think, 85 countries on all 7 continents, smashed all of my goals, all of my dreams, whether that's becoming a pilot, skydiver, global adventurer, graduate, best-selling author, most importantly, proud father and happy partner. So, sorry if that was a bit long-winded, but you know, life isn't a soundbite, is it? So that's another reason I'll be running to show traumatized veterans that are considering killing themselves over Christmas that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's a really bright light. In fact, it's brilliant. How can you get involved? If you can go to Facebook, if you've got a Facebook account, /groups/running HomeLESS, that's our group. You don't have to chuck a fiver in the pot, folks, if you haven't got it, right? You can go to virginmoneygiving.com, just type in my name, Chris Thrall, and the challenge will come up. If you can't afford to spare a fiver, just share this video, share the posts on my social media, and just support us, because you know, I make it no secret, I don't agree with all this warfare. I like to think I understand what it's really about. So this is not about supporting the corporate war machine. This is about that young man or woman who is where I was, right? Struggling, thinking they're unloved and useless and that there's nothing out there for them. Well, I'm telling you, there is, and it's awesome. Thank you ever so much for listening, folks. You put your questions below this video and I'll endeavour to answer them. That's it. I'm Chris Thrall. I'll be running 200 miles this month to raise awareness of veterans' mental health issues and homelessness. Lots of love. Take it easy.